Hi, welcome back to the channel. Just a bit of a quick health update of myself. I've given a couple of updates over the past, more just to share. I think as you retire, as you get to that age where you're either approaching retirement or retire like I am, you start to find time to put health front and centre. I must admit, while I was working, I didn't, which is probably a bad thing. And now I've got time to really start to chase a few things that's been issues over the years. That's probably not the best. It's probably best dealing with it as and when they happen, but it's a time thing. So since I've been retired, I've had a few challenges. Probably for 12 months, I was challenged with my spine, as you may have seen in the other channel, where I ended up having to have a spine surgery for the second time in about 15 years. That worked well. They had to cut away part of the disc. It sort of laid me up for a while, but actually it cured the problem, which is great, and I've been fine ever since, to be honest. The only impact of that surgery at the lower back part was I end up with tingling sensation in my right toes slightly, and don't think that'll ever come back, the surgeon felt. So that can be off-putting at times, but I've gradually got used to that. I think also having regular checkups, I think you become more exposed to things that should happen. And I think one of the problems we have at the moment with the NHS and medical capabilities within the UK, it's inconsistent from what I can gather in speaking to people. Sometimes difficult to get hold of appointments, get to see the right people, maybe get the right advice at times because people are just under huge amounts of pressure, etc. So I think you have to fight for your time and space in front of the GP, in front of the hospitals. So I think it's key that you do that. And I know I've been guilty of that, but Jane, my wife, fortunately pushes me to go and do things. So early in the year, I actually had a full set of checks that I haven't had for many years, blood checks and all that. And I got the results back of those.
So I just had a telephone phone call with the doctor. He cancelled me once to go through the results that I had of various tests, including prostate and then various bloods and all that. And they're all clear. Prostate was clear. No changes to my levels, so that's great because I can monitor that now. Now I've had 2 readings of that over a few years now, and all the bloods were good. The only one that was higher but not too bad was my cholesterol, which was at 5.7. I think the last time I had this a few years ago, and it was about 5.5, so it's gone up a bit. I think I took statins for a while, but then stopped. I don't like taking tablets unless I have to, and I tried to do it by lifestyle, which I probably did for a while. Like anything else, I got off the wagon a bit. Although we're with Jane having a definite focus on health, I'm trying to tag on the back of that where I can. I'm not very good at it, and try and improve it that way. But anyway, so we had a discussion. I could go back on statins. I don't have heart disease in the family, and so when she fed all that in to their calculator, we're on the margins. Basically, I've got 10% chance of having a heart attack in the next 10 years, which is the norm anyway, irrelevant of cholesterol. So I'm not that far out. So we both agreed that I'd try lifestyle and then get another check in 12 months' time and take stock from there. So all in all, good. But it's good to get those tests done. And it's just effort. It's effort to go to the doctors, especially if you've got challenging medical practices where you are and trying to get an appointment and all of that. But pursue, especially on things like the prostate tests. Get your level, then you know where you're at, and then just take your medical advice with it. After that story I shared on the prostate in the earlier episode. So he went and got himself tested, and lo and behold, he got prostate cancer, so they immediately operated. I think they removed the prostate. It sort of just proves it does happen, and if you catch it, you can do something about it.
Then a bit later on, through the post, I became exposed that I was going to have regular bowel cancer checks effectively. Again, you should get that, I think, every 2 years. And again, I had those. I had the results of that in a few months ago. Just another health update. So again, if you're men of a certain age and women of a certain age, I had a letter come through the door from the NHS for bowel screening test. So they should be offering you that at least every 2 years free of charge. So if you haven't had it, chase your doctor up. So I sent mine off test the other day. It's a home kit, so you just do the test, send it all off. And then they send you the results back. I got the results within 2 weeks. To be honest, it was about a week later. I'm all clear for 2 years, which is great. So yeah, again, just another little test. Get it done. I do have one issue that's been really coming up in the last sort of 12, 18 months. It's to do with my hands. I've got a problem with aching, and I thought maybe it was arthritis and that, and I went to see the doctor actually enough, and they said, well, that's what they thought it was and very little we can do about it, and almost put up with it. But I went back to see a doctor again because my finger, I don't know if you can see my finger on my left hand, my little finger is permanently now at a 90-degree angle. I can't straighten that. I cannot push that to a flat position. It won't go. It physically won't go. I'll have to break my finger to do it. And I can't really move it. I can just about slightly move it downwards, and that's it. And I've noticed lots of aching in the joints on both hands, and I've got really hard nodules in the hands under the skin of them. I happened to go and see the doctor again, and they said they believed I got Dupuytren's disease, or in the family we call it Doofus Woofus because we couldn't pronounce it. My kids take great fun out of me in this, of course. So basically, my fingers are it's a tissue disease. Apparently it's hereditary, but I'm not aware of anybody in the family having it. But certainly both my smaller fingers, you can feel nodules in the palm under the skin, which is what happens, and then the fingers have started to malform and come backwards and that. So I saw a consultant actually last week, and he said they can do something. It's not a permanent fix. They can't cure it, but I'll end up having surgery, certainly on the left. They basically cut the ligaments back and then straighten as much as they can. That will last for so long. He might also do the right finger for me. So if anybody's got that out there, I wouldn't mind just sharing some knowledge on that. So I guess that surgery will happen in the next 2 to 3 months, I'm guessing, depending on waiting lists in the hospital. I've got to go up to Oswestry Hospital, actually, where I had my spine surgery, so I'm quite pleased about it being in the hospital because it's a really good hospital up there and people. And I think what they do is I'll go in for the day, basically. I'll have either general anaesthetic, or they'll just do the arm, and they'll do the 2 cuts, and they will straighten up as much as they can and put these 2 fingers in splints. Of course, I use my hands quite a bit since I've retired, so I want to make sure I look after those, because I obviously have to use the keyboard quite a bit for the channel and the films and producing videos and also all the projects I got. So I don't want to get to a point where I actually can't do anything with my hands and fingers, so I'm glad they are going to do something about that. So if there's anybody who's got that condition or disease and know anything of, there's anything I can do to help that disease, or if it's just one of those things, then it'd be great if you could let me know. So I think the key thing over the last 2 years, I have focused on health, and I would probably encourage that anybody who's retired or come up to retirement is to is not to keep pushing things away. Make sure you go to the doctors and push for your time, as I said before. Even though it might be a bit challenging this day and age, keep going for those, get those appointments and get those checkups where you can, because it's important. Because if you like anything else, if you can find something early enough, they can generally do something about it.